Well, I brought the Howard Johnson trucks that I bring every year. I've been coming to this show now for 5 years, and I always bring the Howard Johnson's trucks. They were a collection my father started, and people seem to like those. Everybody, well, at least us baby boomers and anybody older remembers the Howard Johnson stores. And then each year I usually bring another group of models to set up an additional table, and for this year it's a group of Mack truck models. I have things that go back to when I was a little kid that I pushed around in the sandbox, like this one. But my father and my older brother were into model trucks and model trains, and so I followed in their footsteps. Things that were given to me as a child, and then things that I've purchased since. There's some that are currently available. The company that made the Howard Johnson trucks, I believe they still make truck models. They don't, since Howard Johnson's is gone, they don't make those anymore, but they make other truck models for various corporations that like to give them away as gifts and so forth. But there are some of these model manufacturers have probably gone out of business, but others are still active. The older ones would be things made in the United States. I'm sure the newer ones are made in, China or elsewhere. Corgi Toys, it's a British company. They've made a lot of the models that I've accumulated over the years because I'm partial to bus models, and they did a lot of bus models, so I have a lot of those. But they also did some of these truck models were done by Corgi, this one and that one in particular. There's probably a few others here that were done by Corgi. I'm always partial to the bus models in a way, so I have two Mack bus models at the back there. Those would be fairly hard to find elsewhere. They were made in limited quantities, and those were custom painted by people, so you would be hard pressed to find another one of those anywhere. Well, unlike the ones that are mass manufactured, like the Ace Hardware truck is something that you could have bought in an Ace Hardware store anytime over the years. I like to support the local historical societies. I belong to two other historical societies in my old hometown of Stoughton and the one over in Westminster where I live now. As a kid, I remember seeing these buses, when I was a youngster in the Brockton-Stoughton area. And I remember the Howard Johnson trucks. They had an ice cream plant in Brockton, Mass, and we would see those trucks leaving from that plant all the time. I guess one of my favorites here is this Hershey truck. I think we all like our Hershey candy, and I think they did a particularly nice job with that. When I've gone to toy shows and so forth, I've been able to find certain ones that are, they just aren't made anymore. So if you're going to find them, it's going to be at a flea market or a toy show or something like that. I remember my father started collecting the Winn-Dixie trucks when he was a snowbird going to Florida every year. And they had a series of 10 years, and when he moved down there, it was the second year, so he had numbers 2 through number 10. But one time I found the number 1 one at a toy show. So I belong to a model train club in Gardner, and then I've gone to other toy shows and such where I meet plenty of people who collect model trains, model trucks, model buses, and so forth. Yeah. It's been an enjoyable hobby for me all these years now, and I find that the interest is shared by a number of other people.